Hey gang, what's up? It's Wes. So, a fun video this time. I ran a poll a few months ago and asked all of you if you liked more of the longer form videos, some short form videos, or some like really long videos. And it was nice because everyone said, hey, having a variety of stuff would be a lot of fun to watch. And I today was able to actually do a Twitch stream and did it for about an hour and a half. It turned into a really informative, really dynamic and fun kind of Q&A session. Had some artists from different backgrounds, like cosplay backgrounds and, like traditional painters and stuff like that. A lot of people came in and started asking questions about certain digital techniques. And I had recently done a piece, recently as in yesterday, did a piece that I really like. Isn't it the best feeling when you make something and then you're like, oh, wow, this is, okay, this might be a level up. I feel like I leveled up with this. And this was an Orc Hunter, and it's done in very much the ink wash style of the Games Workshop, Carl Kapinski, Lewis Jones, grimdark, kind of dark fantasy stuff. I really like the technique. So I started on another one on my live stream. But I wanted to show this to you in its entirety. So yeah, we're going to have an hour and a half. This is a full-on, no time-lapse, real, chats and discussions and stuff like that. I wanted to show you guys that dynamic. I don't have a lot of time lately to do live streams on Twitch, simply because baby boy, he's 2 months old, man. 2 months olds, they make it a little tricky. But that's why I love doing YouTube, because I can time lapse whenever baby's asleep and stuff like that. So I thought this would be a fun treat of, get some cool information. You might see some techniques that you've never seen before. And it's really fun. We had a lot of artists be like, I've learned more in 5 minutes than I did in like 5 years of trying to learn by myself. So hopefully some of this knowledge passes on to you. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you like this live stream stuff, the live Q&A? I would love to do some Q&A sessions. So if that's something you're interested in, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I love seeing different dynamics and different ways that artists work, different backgrounds. Just different techniques, and if there's anything I can do to help, I just love it. But without further ado, get yourself some snacks, some drinks, all that stuff. Enjoy this hour and a half long, real-time painting live stream with Q&A. A lot of fun hanging out. But until then, we'll see you next time. All right. There we go, man. Long time no see, everybody. Man, oh man. Let me go right there. Woo! Sorry, the exposure's a little crazy right now. Let me do. Oh, well, now it's really dramatic. Oh my gosh. Here, let me turn this down a little. Let me turn it down on my end as well. Yeah, hope you're doing well. Haven't had a whole lot of time to stream lately. Been pretty swamped with projects and stuff, and also I don't know if you all know this, if you're keeping up with the social media and all that stuff, we have a new addition to the family. So let me pull up our boy here. There we go. So let me bring this over. I'll talk about this real quick. So really, I wanted to shout out everyone on Twitch. Yes, I am still alive. I promise things are going well. We're really hitting it off over on the YouTube channel. But I wanted to do a little bit, baby boy. Let me move some of this stuff around so you can see him. Let's see. There we go. Look at him. Look at them summer vibes. This was taken today, by the way. Him and Mama and my daughter are visiting some family friends, and they're doing a little swim date and stuff, and I have a lot of work to catch up on. So, and this is part of that. I wanted to do a quick shout out and say hi to everybody, but look at that, man. He's 2 months old as of 3 days ago. So he's a rock star. Summer vibing like a beast. Little Oliver. So yeah, got my hands busy. got a little busyness there, but I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all of you. Do a little something for you here. I don't know exactly how much time we have, but something I did want to talk about. Let me bring this back up. So a piece that's getting a lot of traction, and I just made it yesterday. Where's it at? So this one, and I kind of I stretched out the sides and stuff, but this orc right here, let me bring it up here. Here, I'll bring it into one of my. There's so many windows open. Good lord. Forget how many windows have to be open to do stream. So let me get this. Where's my orc? Where's the orc? Orc painting, work in progress. Okay, here we go. There we go. So let me turn on this canvas, grayscale. Cool. Okay, back over to the live scene. So this is the full piece that we did yesterday. Pretty happy with this one. Pretty stoked with how it turned out. It has a very ink washy vibe to it. It's something that I've been trying to study because some of my favorite artists from Games Workshop, Warhammer, some old school fantasy artists do kind of this ink wash look, and I think it's really kind of powerful. It looks beautiful, but I want to work traditionally, or I want to work digitally and make it look traditional as I've always done. And I think we're getting close. You know what I mean? I think we're figuring it out. So basically, I'm going to make another piece in this style. I may not finish it here on this stream, but I want to talk a little bit about this process and kind of how I came about this look. Really what it is here's a whole bunch of like Igor Sid and Karl Kapinski Warhammer art. And this is really what I wanted to go for, especially stuff like this, where you see that wash, that kind of water pooling, ink pooling effect. I believe pretty much all of these, and great sketching and stuff as well. Just really cool looks, and then a little more refined work. I think that's Lewis Jones, maybe. But stuff like this, I love kind of that blue, that brown look, the very limited palette that Karl Kapinski does. I love that stuff, man. To me, this looks like Warhammer. You know what I mean? This is, whenever I think of Warhammer art, this is the type of stuff I think of. So, and like, oh man, especially this. Look at this. Let me bring this out. See that? Inquisitors, and you got the city right here, and but yeah, that beautiful gray blue, the slate, with that kind of darker brown gray, like really interesting looks to some of this stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of what I went for with this one, and I'm happy that I nailed down the color. You know what I mean? Like, that was the number one thing, and the number two thing was kind of the loose brushwork, but make it look textural, as if it was like sopping into paper. So wanted to do that as well. So we're gonna do another one. So I'm gonna break down essentially kind of a piece by piece on how I did it. We're gonna do another orc. I like this series. I think this would be a fitting series if I did a number of these in this style. One, just to practice a style, because, you know, the old saying, two to make it true. I want to be able to replicate this at this level multiple times, and then I can start tweaking it or whatever. But overall, I think something like this should be good. And really what we're going to do is we are going to, I'm actually going to move this out of the way onto my other canvas there, and then, or other monitor, I'm sorry. But we're going to do another piece in that style. So I have Paintstorm Studio open right here. Really any wet paint program, so Rebel, Artrage, Paintstorm Studio. You can get it with like a blender brush in Photoshop. That's still a little bit too stoic, I think. I think I need the feel of wet paint, that alla prima stuff. I like that vibe. And what we're gonna do, what we did first off on yeah, it's funny, you can see where I did that. But basically where I started here, let me get rid of all this stuff in Photoshop so you can kind of see where this started. Yeah, so basically this is kind of the step-by-step. We did a quick block in. This is essentially a notan, black and white. So you have black for your shadows, you have white for your highlights, and then you can smudge around some grays. Usually it's just a two-tone, which is black and white. So this is even a little bit more advanced than just a two-tone. But you have pure black and you have pure white to show your light and your shadows. It's a really easy, quick way. If you're like me and you don't like sketching a lot, but you just want to block in your forms, this is a great way to do that. So do this, you can see where the lighting hit right there. This was all in Paintstorm Studio. And then I kind of refined, I darkened up some of the stuff. You can see I refined some of the shapes right here. Once again, I think this was in Paintstorm. It's just, it does a very good job of making really messy, gross texture brushes, which I like at this because I don't want to lock anything in yet. And then, okay, yeah, a little bit more of a refinement. You can see I kind of took away that. I wanted him inside a building at first, and then I was like, no, that seems kind of limited. So then I actually got rid of this to make it a little more open, and it kind of breathed a little more, which is like the other Warhammer pieces we looked at. Those seem very open and big, so I think that was pretty cool. But stylistically, I just like that black background to kind of counterbalance where the light is hitting, kind of that Rembrandt type thing where you domino effect, right? If you have a light foreground, you have a dark background, but then if you have a dark foreground, you're kind of a light background. I really like that look. It's easy, it pops, it's good contrast. So then here's kind of the special sauce. Since we are using digital, we get to do some fun stuff. So I actually have a full folder just full of canvas textures. And what I do is I set this to difference mode because it gave me this faded art look that I really liked. Like whenever I saw this, I got super excited. I was like, wait a minute, there might be something to this. And then what you'll see is I basically took a merged layer without this, and then I did a soft light pass, and then I did kind of a gradient map of a mask to make it a little darker right here. So once again, I really pushed the darks and the lights. But then whenever you have that soft light and then you have this texture right here, you can start seeing those darks start coming back in. And now we're getting somewhere, you know. So then what I did is I just, from here, I think this is the part where I came into Photoshop, and then what I did is I just started color picking from the palette we already had. So hit this, kind of define the face a little bit. He looks a little sad right there, his eyebrows. But I was like, okay, let me keep going here. I smoothed out some of these edges around him. I like these because they show the motion of his shoulder. But some of the stuff kind of took a little bit too much away from him. So you'll see I kind of came in with a blender and blended some of these edges out, kind of lost edges. Then started refining more of that shape, more of the face. Kind of separated this armor, this top armor from the body by adding a darker shadow. And then I just kind of keep doing that. You can see I kind of stretched out the arm a little bit. Did that, added some more, not necessarily muscles, it was just more brushwork that I did here to just infer more detail. It doesn't necessarily matter what the detail is, but you just infer it. And then kind of darkened this out right here. Oh yeah, this was a brightness contrast layer. And then I just kind of came in this way. It just helps the forms a little more, makes it a little darker, a little more gritty. And then it's funny, you'll see that I just kind of got rid of the sword. I didn't like kind of that position of it. So I came in and then I restructured some of this, brought some of the lights back into the head, and then also made this fist bigger, kind of refined that a little bit. I don't even know what I did on that one. Maybe nothing. I don't know. Oh wait, this was basically where my signature went. Yeah, okay. Just added the signature that way, and then yo, 13JSS, thumbs up from Chow Yun, fat himself. Appreciate you, man. But then it's funny because what I like to do whenever we work with a limited range like this, I like to do gradient maps, because gradient maps can give you different vibes. Like, I like this, but it was a little too strong. And what you can do is, if you like some of that blue and some of that, what you can do is on your gradient map layer, you can either change what the color mode is. Like if I just change this over to color, but you can see, like, you start getting some trippy results. You know what I mean? Like, gradient maps are super fun to use, but they can almost take over, which sometimes that's what you want, you know. So let's say we did the normal layer, but then you can also bring down that opacity and see kind of where that threshold of where those colors mingle. It's a little too much blue, you know what I mean? So what you can even do is, if you like that blue, you can come in and mask over it. You see how you have your mask, and just paint black what you don't want to see, white what you do want to see. Like that. But I liked the overall brown look. I think for me it fit the same way that the Karl Kopinski stuff did. He has that kind of nice brown ink wash look that I appreciate. Yeah, see right here. So it's funny, you can see kind of the brown warmer grays for that background, but then he has just pure gray, which is cooler on the color wheel than brown. But just to differentiate from the background. So you can see the quote-unquote cooler foreground and characters and stuff with the warmer background. But then you have some fun, like, ink stains and splotches and stuff. So I dig that. So that's kind of what I wanted to mimic with this, which is why it was so important to bring in our canvas texture. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, we're going to do another one. We're going to start another one. I probably won't finish it. That one took me about 4 hours to do. I don't think we have 4 hours to stream. Let me see what family's doing. They haven't texted back. They're going to be out for another hour or so. But we're going to start on this. I want to show you guys how I kind of start on these. So I'm thinking for this one, we had the cool look of our guy here kind of walking with the sword. You know, kind of that daunting, like, come at me, bro. I want this one to be more of a yell, like that barbarian yell. I still want to do an orc. He might be a little buffer. Kind of out. He has that same sword. Because I want to make this a series. Like, this could be the full race of orcs or something for some fantasy whatever. You know, if I were to ever write a fantasy book, which I'm thinking about, but I don't know, it's a lot of work. This is the type of fantasy I would like to do, that nasty, grimy, you know, grimdark stuff. So we'll kind of do that, but more of a, like a yell. Yeah, so instead of just the walking, intimidating pose, more of the getting really ready to do a crazy call. So we're going to come in here to Paintstorm. Let's do a main roller. Yeah, we'll do that. So, well, once again, we're going to do Notan, which is very much a all black, all white look, just to get our forms in. So it's like, the first thing I'd want to do is get just some of these type of textures in there. Nothing super specific, but just like this sort of thing. Because once again, we're going to get Yeah, we're gonna get some of that feel, and then of course our main roller. So main roller is kind of how we're what the heck is that? So this is Paintstorm Studio. It's only 20 bucks. It's really cool. It's funny, I like these paint programs because some people think of them as kind of gimmicky, but I really like how some of them operate. So yeah, Paintstorm Studio is only 20 bucks. I do recommend it. It has some great wet on wet brushes, some great blending modes, palette knives, things like that for that more traditional feel. i7 player, can I ask a Photoshop question? Of course. Go right ahead. Like, so here's a smearing brush. You see that? Just, you gotta love anything that can smear your paint all around. So we got that. So we're gonna do our main roller to kind of block in shapes, I think. That mixer tab works. Yes. So this, I have the mode right here to where I can just color pick from here. So immediately I can color pick. But what you can also do, let's say I wanted to add like a really bright red to it. Let's bring it over here. You can also hit this paintbrush, which is use current brush tool to add to this. So then you can see how that's added in there. And then what you can do right here in this middle, the brush switches to a blend mode. So once you get it in here, see how it's picking up other colors around it. Basically, whatever color you start with, it picks it up and drags it over top. So now you have these beautiful red, like, yeah, you can have some fun with this. So then you can even do that. And now we have the main roller, but let's grab like a palette knife brush. Let's do, where are we at? Draw blend, where were we? Palette knife. So we come into here and you see we're basically using this as a mini canvas, but you're getting some gorgeous paint blends. You know, it's really cool. I'm trying to recreate a look of Electro from the Spider-Man 2 movie. Not able to make it. I'm getting confused by how I should do it. Oh, using only editing, so getting all those special effects in there. So what I would recommend, so are you looking for specifically like kind of the lightning bolt, bright pop of stuff? Okay, so the way I would look at that is I would actually, let me bring up a new tab. Let me bring up Google. This is where blending modes come into play. So blending modes are a fantastic lightning black background. Blending modes are a fantastic way to use Photoshop. So really any special effect, so fire, big bright light, lightning, weird, you know, just really anything that's going to be a special effect, I will Google it and look for it on a black background. And the reason why, so let's say you have this right here. Yeah, that one's kind of small, but it'll be fine for. Okay, that one's a little bigger. I'm gonna open this image in a new tab. Let me copy this image. Let me bring it in. Let me see if I can bring in edit paste. Okay, yes. So let's say, okay, we're here in Photoshop. We bring in this look. Now it won't look right, of course, with our value structure and stuff that we have right here. But my favorite thing to do is if you have something on a black background, what you'll do is on your blending mode, and this works on anything, not just Photoshop, but every digital painting app has this. So this is a great place to start, is black background with this, change your blending mode to screen. See that? What screen does is it gets rid of all the black. You can still see some of this right here Like, you can still see kind of where it's transferring out from the black. You can see some of these lines. Yeah, we'll wait. Oh my gosh, blending modes are a godsend. Like, people talk about the differences between, you know, traditional and digital art and stuff like that. The biggest benefit, in my opinion, to digital art are the blending modes for your layers, because you have total control over how much of something you want to see based on how it's blending with the layers above and below it. They take a little bit of getting used to, and there's a lot of training, there's a lot of stuff like that. Oh yeah, screen's great. So what's funny is, and Photoshop does this too. A lot of art places do, or a lot of art apps rather. So you'll see what I consider the category. So with darken, that's the category. It's also its own blending mode. But everything within this little area is also a darken mode. So everything darker on the image is going to show through whenever you're in a darken mode, right? So darken, multiply, color burn, linear burn, and darker color, they're all slightly tweaked. However, with lighten, you can see lighten mode kind of works the same way, but you'll still see some of the blues and things like that. Really, screen is my favorite because it brings out the, I don't know, the pop. It really brings out that pop of vibrancy. This is exactly how they do lightsabers in Star Wars. This is exactly how they do it. They rotoscope in, they use, you know, the whatever lightsaber stand-in they have, but then they go in through the footage and they do a screen mode on top of whatever color. Because, like, you can keep screen mode, and then what you can do is you can come over here, you can do something like a hue saturation on top of this. So where did the window for it go? Wait, where's my hue saturation window, bro? Where'd it go? Let me go. Window mode. Where is it? Because I have it here. Window. History, info, histogram. Adjustments? No. Where'd it go? There's a window that has sliders and stuff. But anyway, you can change. My Photoshop's acting crazy. This is another reason why I don't use Photoshop as much normally. But with this hue saturation layer here, let me just delete it. Let me come in and do it again. Okay, here it is. Oh, it's built in. Okay, normally I have it as a pop out. In fact, let me do that as a pop out. Cool. So I'm going to lock this. This is a clipping mask. You can also do this by holding the Alt button and clicking in between layers to where only the adjustment on the top layer affects the layer immediately below it and nothing else. Because if I don't do that and I start messing around with this, you can see all the colors changing relatively to where they were. However, if I just do the clipping mask and then change this, I'm only changing the color of the thing on that layer. So super fun, super easy. This is the benefits of digital art for sure. So this, for 1.7 player, I know he's away from the keyboard, but this is kind of the way I would do this. And then, once again, you can do that with like light flares. So if we came over here and we did lens flare black background, and there's tons to choose from. There's full on you know, this gets you the J.J. Abrams stuff. But if we do this, and, you know, iStock, so if you're going to use these, be sure to actually purchase them or get a big pack of them, which you can find at a ton of different stock photo websites. But you'll see something like this, even like the galaxy sort of thing. So if I, you know, open the image in a new tab, copy the image. Now if I come in and do new tab, edit, paste, you're going to see all that there, you know. So let's do something crazy. Let's go ahead. Let's free transform it. Do this. Actually do that. Doesn't make any sense, but oh well. So we have this. Once again, on that same layer, go to the blending mode, hit screen. Now you start having your special effects. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can move them around, you can manipulate them, you can resize them, you can scale them. So like, if you see any sort of like Magic the Gathering card or D&D or something, to where, oh, or like Thor has his hammer and the electricity's coming down, and, you know, and oh, everything's so bright and blown out. This is what they're doing. They do the painting, and then whenever they come back over top of it, they'll add their special effects, you know, like that, and really get that going. And the cool thing is, I like putting these type of effects around. You see how on my painting I have lighter areas up here, like this white. If I click over here, let me free transform this and actually bring this back over here to be on the white. It actually looks pretty dope whenever it mixes, because now there's a light bloom. It really looks like, you know, there's like a light bloom coming from this top corner over top. Yeah, so just fun effects like that. But yeah, screen is a godsend. Make sure you have a black background, because that's what it gets rid of. You can also chroma key, which means green screen, so you can like select a color range, get rid of a color, all that stuff. But the screen mode works the most naturally, in my opinion. It really does a good job of blending in and out of those black areas, to make it look natural. So is he spitting lightning? Yeah, he's like, so we'll do that, and then we can move our lightning here. There it is. There it is. He's like a dragon. He's like a dragon that spits lightning. Really what I would do on this type of thing is, like, you can have like a glowing sword, you know? And then what's really cool about this, let's say you have this lightning, but we like it being right here, but we want it to kind of go behind our orc instead of in front. You can always create a mask. Get just whatever brush. Let's get the square blocker. And then whatever you don't want to see, paint it black. So we'll just paint it black over where his head is. And what that does is it's basically hiding what this is. So let's say we have it right here. So that way you're not messing with too much with actual structure of it, and we can actually darken that a little bit. So yeah, I would kind of zoom it around a little, kind of get rid of some of those. You see what I mean? And it starts blending it into what you already have. Cool. I appreciate that, man. That's good. But no, blending modes are the best. Once you mix blending modes and clipping mask, blending modes, and just regular masks, yeah, no worries. Once you mix all of these things together, sky's the limit, man. It's truly, truly amazing. So yeah, basically just a quick overview. We got our, like right here, we got, if this is a normal layer that I got this on, but then I changed the blending mode to screen, it's going to get rid of that black, but still keep the smooth transitions into the color. And then I also brought in kind of a lens flare look and did exactly the same thing. So if I bring this one in, it has a black background. We have all this. Come over to the blending mode, hit screen, and now you have this sort of blast out light coming through it. And you know, I'm a painter by heart, so I very much try to use this stuff and then paint on top of it. But this is very, very good in a very quick way to get a good idea down. Photo bashing, this is a great way to photo bash if you screen things into each other. And here's another deal. Here is a completely, yeah, sure. You should be able to post a link. I think so. The background is more pure pen and ink illustration. See, so I'm like you. I come from an atelier background, so I do oil painting, acrylic painting. I've done gouache, watercolor, all that stuff. So that's where how my mind works. And a majority of my pieces are like 2 or 3 layers, and that's it. Very rarely do I break out the quote-unquote digital effects stuff. It does allow for a lot of fun, but I like to paint things. If I have an assignment for a client or whatever, I'm gonna paint it before I mess with any of this stuff. I want to make sure that the painting looks good, and then move over to adding any accoutrements like this, like your blast lighting or anything like that. So that's why whenever we come into like Paintstorm Studio, it has really rugged, traditional feeling brushes. Yes, totally. I use maybe screen overlay sometimes, soft light maybe to like mix some stuff, you know. But that's it. Really, I like painting more so than oh yeah, totally. Yeah. See, and what's smart and what you did, and it's really smart. Keep a lot of it very dark. Keep a lot of your composition very dark, because all of these blasts of light are going to, they're really gonna stick out. They're really gonna, in the good way. The high contrast is really gonna bring that about. And another thing that you might see, what's really cool, is if you guys are familiar with the match color function in Photoshop, which is kind of broken of how good it is. So let's say I had another piece. Okay, so let's say I was working, let me get one of these. Let me get one of these in color here. Yeah, that doesn't have a lot of color, but actually, you know what? Let me do this. That. Let me go to pexels.com and let's just find a colorful picture. Of course, now everything's black and white on Pexels. Okay, let's say we have something like this. Yeah, let's say we have one of these. We have this. We have open link, new tab, copy image. So I'm gonna bring this in. I'm gonna go edit, paste. Let's say we want to match our colors and values and all this from our orc painting into this one to get started, to see how that looks. Now it's kind of janky, it's a little broken, but if you go right here, now it's part of it, it's on its own layer. On the layer, if you go to image, adjustments, match color, well, first, actually, what I'm gonna do, let me get rid of these. Okay, I'm gonna actually make a select all, edit, copy merged, because I want all of this color information on its own layer. Edit, paste, merged layers for color. I'm just gonna name it that, and you'll see why. So say we have this, we come into our image, or adjustments, match color. So, oh, wrong layer selected. There we go. Now I'm selected on my correct layer, image, adjustments, match color. Source, it says none, so it has its own thing. if I want to do orc painting, and then layer 14 is the layer that we're on right now, but then I pick merged layers for color. Now it brought all of those different gradient maps and locked in the colors for what it is. So the reason why I bring that up, doing any sort of compositing, like this is how you photo bash. Like this right here, that one function. So can I do that in reverse? So you mean, can I bring these crazy vivid colors into the orc painting? Because that answer is yes. So let's say I have that, right? So yes, so I select the layer that I want to change. I got to edit, or image adjustments, match color. So this is going to look really gaudy. And the reason why, that photo is way higher resolution and it has way more information. So it's going to do the best it can, but it's going to look like clown vomit. It's going to look super crazy. So if I go source and then I do orc painting, layer 14, now you're getting those rich oranges. Now you're getting the rich. So now this is the type of thing. So once again, like, I'm not going to deliver this to anybody, but if I wanted to know what it looked like as a super crazy thing, because basically all this is a gradient map. You know what I mean? So as far as like art and stuff, that's why I always, with all of my students and tutorials and stuff, I talk about values. Light versus dark. How dark is something? How light is something? How does the form work? How does it move? So you can see all the dark shadows are pretty much pure black, which I don't do a lot, but for this I did because I like that ink look. But then if you come in and you gradient map this, so like gradient map, this is basically telling the program, for your blacks, for your darkest dark, use this color. For your lightest light, use this color. So I could be like, oh, I want to use for my darkest darks, I want to use, oh, that popped up over here. Let's say for my darkest dark, I just want to use this. And then for my lightest light, let's say, okay, so if we were at kind of a brown here, so kind of what's the opposite of that sort of color? Then you can get maybe like a teal or maybe a purple or something like that. If you do like a purple and then bring it up to the lightness right here, it's basically mapping, or we can even do like teal. Yeah, teal looks pretty good, right? You see that? That's just a beautiful look to that. So you're relating colors with value. But then let's say our midtones, which a majority of this is midtones, I'm going to add something, and then let's bring it to be about 50% gray, since this is about the halfway point between pure black and pure white. Let's say I wanted to introduce a... Let's do kind of a green, and then bring this in. You see what I'm saying? So now your midtones have a green to it. Let me come back over here and actually up the saturation of this blue. You see what I mean? Like, but then if you come and do this 50% gray, it all blends away, which is a neat technique if you want to get with that. And then it just changes kind of the color because you're in the same value range. Your 50% gray value, it's just your saturation is different. But that's why you want to make your brights very, very bright and your darks very, very dark, because it gets you a good contrast, right? So, yeah, easy peasy, right? So that's color theory in a nutshell. Like, yeah, just a lot of fun to mess around and do stuff like that. That's why I love digital, because with traditional stuff, you have to plan that in advance. And a lot of times before I do a traditional painting, which I haven't done one in about a year, but I'm going to start doing more of them. I actually come into Photoshop or whatever, Rebel, Art Rage, Paintstorm Studio, anything really, and do a test painting. make all these type of adjustments to figure out what I really like, then that's when I'll go and I'll either buy paint that I need or I'll use colors that I have now and I'll mix them. So got that kind of liquidy feel to it with multiple colors, having difficulty having that look. Oh, so what you can do there, if you want to get multiple colors in the same deal, but now overlay each other. How would I do that? Okay, so perfect example. Let's go ahead. I'm going to make this pure black and white. So I'm going to edit, fill it with black, and then change this to color. This changes everything to grayscale, no matter what. In any art program you do, if you fill a layer with black and change the overlay type, or the blending mode to color, it will always make it accurate black and white. So, same thing here. So you see all these crazy colors. If you want to have something that's value accurate, meaning the lights are the same, the darks are the same, never use the black and white filter on Photoshop because that adjusts a bunch of stuff. Use this, because you'll notice we just click this on and off. The highlights are still right, all that. I bring this up because what I would do on this is make a layer above this black and white. Then I would use a soft brush. Then you can kind of use any colors you want. Just bring this as a color overlay layer. So let's do this. So let's say we have these, then we want to get some of these in here. Now let's do some blues. Let's do some yellows. Do you see what I'm saying? You can control how much of the color you want and how bright the saturation is. Where do you want it? And once again, it's going to tie to your values. Since you're doing color overlay, your values aren't changing. You are just giving pigment to the value. So you're changing. So it's like, I wonder what that balloon looks like if it's really bright red. So I can come in with my brush and see it's super, super bright, which is kind of crazy. So if I bring that down a little, unsaturate it, now I want that to be really, really green on this one. And then I want this one to be yellow because it's lighter. So let me bring that. Yes, you can absolutely do this on any of those effects. So like, perfect example. Let's say we have all of these effects. Let me hide that. Let me hide that and that. Okay. So I did demonstrate this earlier with the hue saturation adjustment. So you can just make a hue saturation adjustment layer above your lightning or whatever special effect you have. Then you're gonna clipping mask it down, which, like, if you have the options window open, you're gonna see this little box with an arrow pointing. That just means it only affects the layer below it, not your whole composition. And then what you can do from here is this is where, and you'll see the lightning is going to change colors. You can change how that looks. And then you can also change the vibrancy of the color. But you're going to notice this does it to the whole thing. You see what I'm saying? Like, it does it to all of the lightning. So you can do that and get different colors and stuff like that. And it's cool because it's tied. So there's some good quality assets. You can go places like Pexels. So Pexels is one of my favorites. Unsplash. And all of these are completely royalty free. Okay. They don't need copyright stuff, like all that. It's all open for everybody. So Unsplash. And then the other one is this is Pexels. Pixabay is the other one. So if I go over here, but if you're looking for a specific asset, I say buy one. Like if you see it on Envato or iStock Photo or whatever, buy it. Like, it's worth it to buy it, to know you're legally sound. But these are, yeah, these are all completely royalty free. You can use these for textures and lighting, and so yeah. So we will go to pexels.com, unsplash.com, pixabay.com. So those are the three I always go to first. If I need something free and fast and quick, let's say I'm at Pixabay and I'm like, oh, I need, let's do Canyon, because I need photos, or I need structures to look at, like as far as rocks and how does light hit the rocks. Oh, okay, I can see one of these. And then that way I can either take some photo textures if I need to, or I can just study and paint it like I do a master study. It's really fun. Yeah, no, trust me, man. I got a 2-month-old baby. I am right there with you, man. So yes, you have all this very, very good stuff. These are high quality assets, which I highly recommend using. But yeah, it's always good to just like promote them. Be like, hey, I use this from this photographer from Art Tower at Pixabay, and you see the owner right here. So hey, thanks for the great reference. That's all you need to do. Just do a quick shout out and you're good. Yeah. So a lot of information, a lot of stacked information in there, but I'll have this on replay. I'm also going to post this on my YouTube channel so you can watch it, rewind it, anything you need to do with it. But yes, I don't do a lot of the special effects stuff, but whenever I do get asked to do it for like a fantasy piece or like Warhammer or something like that, this is how I do it. I use screen modes, I do blending, I kind of use the mask to blend in and out. I try to integrate it as much as possible into the painting. But really, I just like painting. I just like the act of painting. I think it's fun and cool. And yeah, man, I dig it. I really like just doing that. But this is just such an interesting technique for doing. Here, let me bring that back in. Where was that? I was on main roller. I'm just blocking these shapes in. They're really ugly. But like the guy's gonna be like, oh, visual effects. That's really cool though. No, whatever inspires you, like go for it. I say absolutely go for it. Cause see, we're gonna block out like this, and then like if we have his body right here, really it's kind of having this. And see, it's messy, but I kind of like the messy because it lets us, so if I want to do like large brush texture, no, oh, that's a large mixer brush. There we go. Something like this. So if it's like that, might be a little big, but like, it's almost like a superhero yell pose. I think he's leaning over a little too much. I'll fix that, but this is a great way just to sketch in. I don't like drawing very much. I like painting. So this is kind of my version of that. It's called Notan. It's just using black and white just to fill out your forms, and then once again we have the sword here. Something like this. Yeah, I need to change the size, I think, of him in relation. So you have that. So a lot of my favorite artists kind of do this type of thing, like Richard Anderson, Flat Traps does this quite a bit. He will take brushes and just kind of make marks everywhere, until he starts seeing something, you know, inside Photoshop to look at and work simultaneously without alt-tabbing to see the pic. Easy peasy. So, my favorite way of doing this, let's say we have, let's do a picture of my son. Sure. So we got here, let me go to copy. Usually I would save it and then like open it in Photoshop. But if you just go, if you have an image copied to your clipboard, you go to new, it should bring in the dimensions of what you have on your clipboard. Yeah, my Photoshop is dragging now. Dragon. There we go. Good Lord, why is it taking so long? Okay, you're gonna see where it says from clipboard, 1200 by 1600. So that's our picture. You go ahead and hit create. It's gonna bring up a blank canvas. Then I'm just gonna hit edit, paste. There's the image. What I do if I want to work, let's say I have a reference on one side and then I have the picture on the other, is I will go to window, arrange, 2 up vertical. And then you're gonna have, basically it splits your Photoshop in half. You can take like, oh, we have this, and let me bring my painting, my orc painting, over onto this one. And then I can look and see him right here. So I can do this, I can still color pick, but then I can click over here and then actually start, you know, painting on top using any of the colors and stuff. There's also a, I'm gonna link it real quick. Pureref.com. Pureref is the best program on earth. It's completely free. I love it, love it, love it. This is something that what you can do is you can have settings to where you go right click, mode, always on top. Keep in mind you can't color pick from this, but like let's say I was doing a study of this, you can resize the window, but no matter what else you click on, this always stays on top. You can do stuff like hold hotkeys to flip and rotate and turn. The other really cool thing Pureref does that I love, you can see that we have color things right here. If I wanted to do a value study, so if I wanted to see what this looked like in black and white so I could study it, you can right click on anywhere within Pureref, go to canvas, grayscale, and it grayscales everything. Brings it to pure black and white. Where you have it basically does that same thing we did to where it has a black color overlay. Yes, it's the best. I love Pureref. The other baller thing Pureref can do, check this out. So let's say you see a cool image, right? You're like, oh man, I want to save this image. You can go ahead, grab the image, and drop it into Pureref. And there it is. And since it's in grayscale, you can do that, but then you go to canvas, undo grayscale. There it is. Flip it, rotate it, whatever you need. It's the best. I cannot live without Pureref. I use it literally on every painting that I do. Every single one. This is how I do my references. And then whenever I'm done with my references, all I do is I just right click the window and move it to another monitor. And then I just start painting. So some really amazing functionality. It's very fast. It's very quick. Very, very fun stuff. So yeah, so see, I can kind of zoom into these details and kind of look at this. And then I'm like, oh, look at that cool ink wash and that look and the brush strokes and stuff like that. Oh, I wonder how he did that. Then I'm like, oh, let me hop back over. Oh, if he did it right here, I wonder if he did it on this one. And then I can look and be like, oh yeah, he did the same thing. Okay, cool. So yeah, a lot to love. And then you can even drag and drop your own pictures in there. That way you can like compare them. So I can just drag and drop, like, how does my orc piece stand up against Karl Kapinski's stuff? Like, what's different about his than mine? Oh, it looks like his is a little more refined with some of these shapes or softer edges. Mine's a little harder edged. So, like, you can study that way too, which is super valuable. I'm a big fan of art studies. Coming from art school, I like it a lot. But yeah, got that. And see, yeah, we're just getting this kind of messy look that we're doing right here. Just trying to get poses in. That's kind of how I started this one. So we're just gonna kind of mimic that same thing. Yeah, no, it's good to be self-taught, because I realize that the stuff that I self-taught myself, I remember easier than something that I saw maybe an instructor or a mentor or somebody like that do. Let me move this out of the way. Yeah, very much. I appreciate being self-taught, because I think there's a lot to like about that. Then there's a good, yeah, here's a good brush. Low texture dirty brush where it picks up items, you know. So we have this, kind of the same thing. We'll do that same design. We'll kind of have that same, the chest piece, angry face, grrr. Yeah, so it's just really blocking in these shapes first, just to make sure they work well, and make sure that that it's kind of an exciting thing to look at. So right here, we're not too worried about anatomy and stuff. That's stuff we can fix later, and stuff that we will fix later. But it's about the lighting more so than anything. I'm a big fan of light. I'm a painter by heart, so light is a big deal for me. It helps me with my forms and like my structures and things like that. So think maybe here, you know, whenever I did this stuff for Warner Brothers, this is kind of the thing I would turn in before they approved the Mad Max art. And this is good because you can show this type of stuff to an art director, and if they've been around for a while, they're gonna know, oh, here are the shapes that he's thinking about, and like, oh, the composition, and you're not so deep that you're like, you feel trapped, you know. So if we have that, I wonder, let me try something real quick. Let me, yeah, let me do that. Let me set that here. Let me rotate it a little. There we go. I want him standing on something. Or ooh, you know what would be cool? Since this is a kind of a Warhammer inspired piece, I can have the ground here, you know? And then what we can do is we can just start painting skulls in. Because, hey, it's Warhammer and skulls are rad, you know? So if we just have like a setting of skulls and then maybe like a pike that has skulls on it, that type of thing would be pretty cool. Things like that, and yeah. Thank you so much. It's funny. It's just I'm trying to get used to just blocking in big shapes. This is my version of drawing. I don't really sketch too much, because whenever I sketch or whenever I like have a pencil and I try to go in, I feel like I need to worry about the details way too early. But like this feels better for me, because I can very quickly be like, oh, his face should be like this and the head angle should be like that, and you know, it's my goal to work on like D&D and Magic the Gathering, and this is very much how a lot of those painters work. Here, let me get this and let me bring this up. A lot of how they work is very much this way. So I want to mimic that, because if those art directors are used to this type of work, it's fun. I would say my advice for this type of sketching use a very big brush, like a flat brush or something that like it's not a pixel brush. Like you're not, like if we zoom in, I wonder, are we at 100%? So this is the 100%, right? So you're going to notice I'm not using, you know, I'm not using a huge, oh, it's white, I see. I'm not using a huge, or a small pixel brush, like a tiny pencil, like, oh, I'm going to go in. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. I just get dirty brushes. And then this is the way I would do it on a canvas. I would get some sort of tone, whether it's like a grayscale tone or like a burnt sienna kind of a tone, maybe like this. Or let me grab this. I would get like a tone. I would even darken that a little bit and kind of unsaturate it. Maybe lighten it a little. And then come in and just start putting down shapes. You know, and then it's fun because you can come in and since you're so loose and using wet brushes and stuff, you can really get the energy of that sort of look. And like, you can tell I'm not worried about much of anything really. I just like scraping the paintbrush against stuff. I like that feeling. I like not knowing what it's going to look like until after it's put in. See, I need to actually, I want him to be a little more jacked, actually. So let me kind of bring in some of this. And then I need his arm to be a little bigger out. Because he's an orc, after all. He needs to be pretty jacked. And like I said, the anatomy's all wrong and things like that, but it's just so your eye can start to see if something's working. Nothing specific, that comes hours later, you know? But this type of thing, yeah, like we could make a cool composition out of this. And maybe, let's say he's even like holding like a head, you know? Something really grimdark. Do that. That'd be fun. Yeah, so he's another orc warrior. And grabbing heads, man. And like I said, you can have skulls here, we can do all this type of stuff. So this is just a thumbnail. This is a fun thumbnail sketch. And I mean, this is exactly how I started with this one. Like, you can probably see how it, ooh, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, he could wear like a cloak type thing. That'd be good. But this is exactly the steps we took for this one. Like, identical steps. And you can kind of see it. Like, you can kind of see that blocky paintbrush look that I just carried over here. But then what you do for the details is you come in and you really refine it with like your hard round brush. You get those edges in there, you start making decisions. But here it's just fun. So yeah, like if he wanted a cool cloak, we're gonna make it a little bit lighter. Because if it's gonna be behind him, so it can be like, and then let's make his arm darker since it's closer to us. Ooh, he could have one of those cool, like, ripped cloaks, like Spawn or something. You know, I just love that type of design. And I mean, we could even do the thing where we put a hood on him. But we want to make sure, yeah, so something like this, see? And you can see those brush strokes. And there's another artist that works this way. It's one of my favorite artists on Earth. His name's Ashley Wood. He did, some art for, I'm going to bring it up in another browser and then show you guys because he makes some very not suitable for Twitch art, but he did a lot of great paintings for Metal Gear Solid. And Ashley Wood Metal Gear art. I'm gonna drag and drop a few to yeah. I'll drag and drop a few and then I'll show you guys. So he has done, God, these are good. These are good, man. I love the energy of his art. And I love kind of that watercolor nature vibe stuff that he has. It's really dope. It's the type of stuff that really excites me. Okay, so got that. Now let's bring this over. So yeah, this is the type of art Ashley Wood does. So yeah, that was 2016. But you can see it's that very painterly watercolor, big blotchy brushes. Not a lot of, like, you can see the canvas through it type stuff. And I mean, this is my jam. Like, this stuff to me, man, this is what it's all about. And then, like, he does this. I actually own the full series. See, Ashley Wood is a beast, and this is one of my favorites. Just Solid Snake looking like a boss with a SOCOM pistol. But yeah, you can see he's not worried about being clean. He's not worried about being refined. He just paints. Like, he doesn't care. But he's super good. He has a full understanding of shapes and values and structure. Just genius level stuff, in my opinion. So that's kind of where my goals are, you know, to have that sensibility whenever I make art. And this is a good way to start. This mimics that look pretty well, and at least keeps me interested, because that's the other thing. If I'm sketching, like doodling and drawing, I get bored really quick, because I'm not interested in details. You know, I just yeah, they're fine, but, you know, like, it's cooler to have stuff like this to where your mind, you know, pulls in the blanks. You know, and then, like, this type of thing we can make small, and, like, his head is like this. And then if he had, see, and this is still getting really early into details, but then, like, if we have like a yelling orc type thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have something like this, and then you have his hair again. I love that, like, balding hair look on orcs. And then, like, you can bring the white back in for his teeth. You know, just doesn't look right, but it looks okay. Like, you're getting an attitude more so. Yeah, exactly. Like, your imagination is making decisions instead of, like, well, technically the eyebrow ridge has to blah, blah, blah. Like, who cares? Right now, who cares? We're doing the rule of cool. Yeah, and, like, smeary paint and, like, cool structural brush strokes, and doesn't matter. And it feels more comfortable painting this way, because you feel like you can't make a wrong decision. And I like feeling that way. I like that sort of vibe. And then, like, see, and then this is here. And then you can kind of come in and start refining some of the shapes a little more. So if we have this, and then, like, yeah, we have more of that deal. Like, he could be the orc captain or something, you know? And then once again, if we get the white and then we start putting in light, that's where this no-tan technique really comes into play, is because you can pick where your light source is coming from. and then use that. So a really good, you know, painterly piece of advice is anything that faces the light gets the light. So if you decide on your lighting structure, stick with it. It's going to make your stuff look better. So if we have like this and then something right here, his legs kind of off, it needs to be more like that. More like that. Yeah. Like I said, we're not too worried about it. It's just we want to lock in shapes pretty early. And then what I can also do is come in with the draw around opacity brush, get pure black, and then I can kind of come in here and do some harsher edges. And if I do this and kind of bring that up and blend that in, same thing here. Let's do a few that. That's there. That's there. Yeah, something like this. And then the abs are sort of... So yeah, this is almost a stroke for stroke way that I did this other one, you know. But I think that's good. I think the more we try this technique and this style and get more comfortable with it, I think the better it'll be in the long run. And then we can even bring in good reference from like Lord of the Rings orcs, because those are some ugly looking dudes, you know. Ugly looking dudes. And then that's fun. Do something like that. Ooh, yeah, like yeah, that nasty, like scrunched, mean face, the big teeth, and the, you know, you can do some cool stuff. You know, so we have more of the sketch here. And then, so you see how we're kind of refining the shapes a little bit at a time, but still nothing overly overly descriptive. We're keeping it loose, we're keeping it light. Yeah, like it's a lot of fun, and see, you have that same white light coming in, same way we'd have this, same way we'd have these kind of glowy eyes right here, almost like he's a vampire, you know, and then he has the head right there. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a little while since I've been on Twitch. I am primarily on YouTube now. Just having the little one, it's easier to make YouTube videos. Because I can just time lapse, and then whenever he's asleep, I can do narration. That way, he's not, you know, fussy and all that stuff during a stream, and we can actually have some fun. But he's the best, man. It's funny, this kind of reminds me a little bit of Raziel from Oh yeah, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, you bet. Anytime. Anytime. Yeah, and all my about stuff, check out the YouTube, check out Discord, all that stuff. I'm always available. I love meeting other artists, man. It's fun. we have, but Raziel from Soul Reaver, Legacy of Kain. Very cool, you know. Very cool series, but he has this cool like hood thing that goes around his oh, perfect, awesome. Well, welcome. Yeah, like his face cover. We could maybe do something like that. But I want him to be angry and have drool coming out. That's my goal. And see, the only thing I see right now so far, and we're gonna fix this, of course, but he looks a little flat. Looks a little flat. That has to do more with the forms not being established yet, to the light being a little crazy, as it were, but we'll get there. We shall get there. And really, the visual interest side of it is more about edges. It's a very painterly way to think, but edge control is everything. Soft edges versus hard edges. Just to build some visual dynamics and interest in your piece goes a long way. You know. We have something like that. That's cool. So I'm gonna make another layer, bring it under this one, and we're gonna do some big brush work. Let's see how we did this one, because I like that. I like that look. So if his dark side... Okay, let's do this. Big brushes. You can see it's just chaos. Like, that's sort of what I want. Something like this. It's a great way to block in a lot of info on like a war zone or something like that early. Let me get the white brush and make some, because we want to be able to see kind of the main ideas, but we also want the background to kind of point at what we need to be looking at. Let's do yummy textures, all right? Yes, okay. Then we have a palette knife we can do this with. Gotcha. If we come back up here, there we go. Start mixing some of those. Brush heads. And we can also do the texture up there. Cool. See, I need more white. Yes. There we go. Something like this, to where it's a little more. Let's do a main roller. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's some harsh ones there. Do some of this, bring in some of this for like smoke or something. Just to kind of help us see what we're working with. Smear dry mixer. Okay. That's what we want. Let me get this. Just put in some random shapes. I don't even know what this is going to be. But then what's cool about this is you can have that. We can even do kind of a darker, let's do like a rock or something. Yeah, because this can be where kind of the skulls are. You know, like a pile. And then we can grab that smear brush and around our point, kind of smear that away. See what I mean? And it gets that. There we go. So now it's starting to look like that ink is like melting in. Here we go. Then you can also get the wet smudge. Yeah. It really softens up those edges. It allows us to keep our focus, literally our eyes focus, on our topic there. So yeah, see, I like all the canvas texture. I like all that stuff on there because it makes it feel a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more alive. But this is the way I sketch. I like sketching this way. It's just fun. It's way more dynamic, you know. But yeah, we're almost at an hour and a half. I think I'm gonna call it here. Kind of get the stuff situated. I am gonna finish this one. I'm gonna make this part the next part of that series for the Orc Hunters. And yeah, I'm gonna change maybe the shape. He looks a little flat right now. Like, I like the brush techniques, but overall the pose needs to be a little different. Maybe a little more superhero-y. I want him to stick his chest out real confident. You know what I mean? But I like the fact that he's holding a head of a soldier. I like kind of the weird watercolory background, but we are gonna refine it a little bit more. Basically, I'm gonna do my best to take this one to the same final that I took this one to, in the same way. Yeah, I'd like to have a full series of these set up in this way. I think that'd be really cool for the portfolio. Hopefully that will grab the attention of Games Workshop, or get to work with Cubicle 7 again on more Warhammer. Maybe not even Warhammer 40k, but maybe like fantasy roleplay or Soulbound or something. I don't know if they really need a grimdark artist, but hey man, it's worth a shot, you know. So a lot of fun. But yeah, these are the real rough sketch. I mean, this is what you get in an hour. You know what I mean? Like, feel pretty good about where this is after an hour. Yes, so I drew this one yesterday. Yeah, I'll be right there. So yeah, I did this exactly the same way. Literally the exact same method. I came into Paintstorm Studio first, and then I took this into Photoshop and refined it and stuff like that. But yeah, my YouTube has time lapses, it has tutorials, it has a whole bunch of fun stuff. I have a weekly video to where I talk about different techniques that I study or different things that influence me. And then we kind of talk shop there. So I think last time I did a Leyendecker study, JC Leyendecker, which I'm a big fan of his stuff, and it's actually helped me. Oh, let me do, where am I at? There we go. Did the JC Leyendecker study. But if you want to head over to the website, you can see the portfolio of stuff. Let me have this load up and then I'll switch back to the... Yeah. So here we go. So here's all my stuff. Yay. So yeah, I've worked with Adidas, Warhammer. I did some stuff for Warner Brothers. I just do a lot of different types of paintings. I'm working on my own sci-fi cyberpunk thing. Done some stuff for Halo. So yeah, a lot of fun. This was a follow-up to a piece that I did for Warhammer that I wanted to do. But yeah, you can even see right here all the like the scratchy, sketchy, canvasy stuff. I like that a lot. I like that style. But then I work a little more refined. Like these are the ones that were actually in Warhammer. So I get a little more in-depth and rendery and stuff like that whenever I work with clients, because they usually like the clients like more of the finished stuff. Let's see, for this one, I think I did, and that's funny because I actually have a YouTube video here. So yeah, I did like a career retrospective. Oh no, so I started, yeah, so you can see me do the full thing here. So 2 hours, the whole thing took about 4 hours. So I started here, kind of blocked in things just the same way we worked here. And then, you know, I started filling in, just putting in structures. But then I came in and I did that color overlay technique that we talked about. So I make a new layer, color overlay. I got the reds, and I just threw the reds in with a soft brush. And I adjusted it to make it a little more orange. You can see the color wheel here kind of moves around. I kept a lot of the stuff gray. Gray is great because it's like the perfect color, because it's cooler than red but warmer than blue. I'm gonna have a whole course about color theory, but I love working that way because it gives you variety without really having to know a lot about color. So I kind of work that way, and yeah, so we kind of take it and we push it. We do more design prompt stuff. See, we kind of zoom in, and I have a full narration over this one. And then yeah, after a while you do color pick from your palette. You do that. So, but then yeah, after like 4-ish hours, you have something like this, you know? Just working in steps is really good, but you can also see my sketchbook where I put stuff that's not quite up to finish level. Just stuff that's kind of thrown in. So Discord, I want to say, there you go. So there's the Discord. A lot of great artists on there. We talk shop a lot. We just have a lot of fun. But you can see I do like Doomslayer sketches and, you know, just any of this type of stuff. But I also try to do more of the traditional painting looks and color sketches. And like this is still one of my favorites. I like how this turned out because it feels like what I would do painting on a canvas. It has all the brushstroke stuff and all that. So, but God, that was last year. It's already been a year, man. It's crazy. But yeah, that is my time for today. Yeah, go check me out on YouTube. I don't stream a whole lot anymore. I just don't have time to, sadly. But yeah, I'm working on a bunch of big projects and having a lot of fun. But I post every single week on YouTube. I do time lapses, all that fun stuff. This stream will actually be on YouTube. Not today, but tomorrow. It should be on there. But so for all the YouTube people, this is what it's like doing a live stream. I'm trying to decide once my schedule gets more clear if I'm going to stream to both at the same time, YouTube and Twitch. But I love Twitch. I've been around Twitch for a long time, so that Discord's not working. Let me get you going. Let me go. I might have to change the privacy settings. Invite people. Let me do that. Try this one. That should hopefully work. We have Patreon stuff. We have exclusive chat rooms and stuff for patrons, but overall, you should be able to share art, view art, chat, like hang out. There's voice servers for gaming and all that stuff too. So that one should work better. I may just have to update my Streamlabs link for whatever reason. Okay, perfect, cool. Yeah, so I'll update that. Yeah, you bet. So yeah, I will see you around, and that's my time for today. But you all take care. And yeah, fun fun stream times. So they're very limited now, but once baby boy gets older, we'll start reintroducing those. So that should be fun. But anyway, it's fun to see you, Twitch. Thanks for hanging out today. You enjoy your day as well. Thank you so much for the support. And we will catch you on YouTube. Go follow on that there YouTube. Links in the description of this Twitch page. But then just follow me on social and stuff and you'll see everything. But that's my time. You guys take care. Peace. Go make cool stuff. Do it.